Okay, today we're playing a game on King's Row. The average SR of this game was 1,932, and we will be playing Genji on attack and Zarya on defense. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, Winston, the Super Shimada Bros, Mercy, and Lucio. So, pretty average. If they have a Winston, we're going to be pretty upset about it, but at the same time, like gold, silver SR range, I wouldn't expect the defending team to have a Winston out of the gate, so it probably doesn't be an issue for us that often. We do see they have a Mei right here, which could be a problem for us as Genji, but ends up not really being an issue. So, before we start, we stood up on the pulpit for a little while, and we saw that they had a Mei and a Symmetra. Another thing, if you're gonna pick because we ambled around in the spawn for a little while, if you're gonna pick a hero that can get into the pulpit on the church, get up there, fast, so that you can see the enemy team walking around and see what's out there. But we caught a glimpse of a Symmetra and a Mei. This does come up, well, we see fucking Meis here right now, but we caught a glimpse of a Symmetra. This is important for something that's gonna happen in a moment, because we start going towards the gate, and we get shot in the head. We saw Symmetra, we're at 50 HP, we walk through the gate and we get shot, killed by the turrets. So, and I know it happens pretty quick, where we get shot and then we walk in within half a second and we're dead. But, we saw Symmetra, so we know Symmetra lasers are gonna be in the gate. So, we don't really want to go through the gate as Genji when we know that those are right there, unless the Winston's gonna break them, but Winston just, shot off past us, so... We could have reacted in time to just not go through the gate and get killed, though, so... Most of the team dead right now. We shouldn't have come over here at all, because now we have to wait for our team to get back. Reinhardt didn't get the memo, and he goes forward, but we see that Hanzo's actually killed 2 people, and then we just killed Orisa, partly thanks to Orisa, which is always nice. So they're actually half dead now. So even though some of our team are dead, we've still got a numbers advantage. Hanzo's got his ultimate because he just killed a bunch of people. And they had a Roadhog, so he's probably been farming the Roadhog as well. They have a Sombra, which is a bit of an issue for us as Genji, but didn't end up being an issue because, we've basically never even seen her. So we see right there, Boostio just came out of a teleporter. This small thing that's actually surprisingly important. Because we see this happen, we know there's a teleporter right next to us. We should immediately, ignore everything happening over here. We should immediately try and break the teleporter. For a couple of reasons. First off, we don't want the enemy team to regroup with the teleporter, because that's kind of bad. But, other thing, it looks like we're gonna capture this point regardless right now. So, we want to try and break whatever Symmetra put down, because then she doesn't get the refund on it when the point change is over, if we've already broken it by that point. So, just start trying to break that teleporter. And Genji can break it surprisingly quickly, because you can just stand right up on top of it and right-click it, and that breaks a teleporter pretty quickly, or a shield generator if that's what she has. So we have opted into this fight with a Mei, which is not a great idea, because you don't generally want to opt into a fight with somebody that counters you. Granted, there was a lot of our team nearby, which is helpful, but you still don't kind of want to do it. Here we start using Deflect against the Symmetra, which is just not generally gonna get you very much mileage. The Dragon Blade ends up not being that bad, because the enemy team actually has started to kind of regroup by this point, but this is a Dragon Blade that we've pulled out basically exclusively to use on the Mei, because she's the only one we see when we pull this one out. It's not worth using a Dragon Blade on the Mei, and the Mei's shift will also be back off cooldown soon, so we might not have even gotten the kill on the Mei. We end up getting to cut a bunch of people, but we pulled it out just to kill Mei, who was drastically outnumbered, and then we kind of, found other people, so that's not a great use of company resources. Because the cool thing about Dragon Blade is that, you can wipe a team with it, especially if there's an Ana on your team. We don't have an Ana on our team, but, if you have an Ana on your team, it wipes the enemy team. We have a game tomorrow that showcases a Genji wiping a team because he got nano boosted. So we have to be really careful when we dash forward versus this team, because we have to remember that they have a Symmetra, a Mei, and an Orisa. So, that's a lot. The Orisa doesn't actually counter Genji, But the reason that that's important is because she can hold us in place for somebody for, like, the Symmetra or the Mei to freeze us and kill us. Or just, like, hold us in the beams for the Symmetra to kill us, and that would feel pretty bad. So here, this is not a great time to use the Dragon Blade, because all of the people that we really want to kill with Dragon Blade are kind of already dead. Because you don't want to use Dragon Blade on tanks, because it takes too long to kill them. The point of the Dragon Blade is that it kills squishy targets real fucking quick. But they're kind of already dead by that point, so we're pulling it out to fight tanks, and that's not what we want to use the Dragon Blade for. Then we, like, dash into Roadhog, and he just kills us, which feels really bad. Obviously, being dead is generally not going to feel super good, but... So far, 2 Dragon Blades we've had that have not really felt like a super great use of them. So, we've dashed in here, we've shot a bunch of stuff back at the Orisa, and then we get real greedy for that Orisa because we see that she's low HP, but oh god, we can't do it. Because there's you gotta be real careful versus a team like this, because they'll hold you in place and fucking kill you, as Genji. The other thing is that you don't really want to dash unless you're pretty certain that you're gonna get a reset on your cooldown. Which we very nearly got, but like an Orisa like half HP, surrounded by her team, you're not gonna consistently get a reset on the cooldown off of that one, so it's not a good time to dash in there, because you're probably not gonna get it reset off the Orisa. If you did, it would have all worked out, but we didn't get it, so... It's not you gotta be real careful if you're gonna dash through a tank, because tanks can surprise you quite easily and survive through whatever burst you were planning to do to them. So, they tend to be kind of risky people to dash through, unless you're, like, really certain you're gonna get the kill. So, Orisa's all the way over here. We're pretty close to having our ultimate, so, like, her juicy head hitbox is, like, you know. But we're just kinda running straight at her right now, and Orisa, like, don't run straight at an Orisa. Like, try to vary your movement, because, like, Genji's got great opportunities to vary his movement. He can double jump and shit. He can, like, alter his momentum in the air. Don't just run straight at someone, because that makes it really easy for you to get shot. Especially someone like Orisa. She loves people running straight at her, because it's just like ding, 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 ding. So try and, like, vary movement more, rather than just running, like, straight at somebody. So we've been hacked by the Emp, and that feels pretty bad. But we get rezzed by the Mercy. This just, like, don't run straight at the Roadhog. Like, our deflect came up right before we died, but, like, don't run into it, really, like, when you're hacked, because the hack lasts a surprisingly long time. So we're trying to get the shield generator right now. It's like a minor thing, but it adds up. If you right-click it, like, you kill it faster, because all 3 shurikens hit it at the same time, rather than having to throw all 3 of them out at one by one. It, like, makes a very slight difference in how quickly you'll kill it. And then we, like, jump down off the top, because, like, Symmetra's there. Like, you know, not a great idea. Just, like, stand up there and, like, right-click it. Because, like, that should be close enough where you can get all 3 in it from the right click, and then you'll break it, and then you can just leave. Symmetra, like, just, like, start hopping. Like, start hopping and left-clicking, and she won't be able to get you. No, instead we, like, jump down and get microwave, which is not ideal. It's quite difficult for us to play Genji versus their team, because they have a lot of things that are very inconvenient for us. We have a Winston, so, like, he's fine. Like, this is not the greatest Dragon Blade in the world, because we kinda end up cutting turrets with it, and that's it. Like, so the idea is probably to cut the Symmetra, and then we start panicking because of the turrets. Basically, you gotta try and, like, really plan it out, because if you think you're gonna dash into some turrets, that's gonna make it really awkward for you to kill people, because they're gonna slow your movement. Here, these turrets, like, just, like, get over here and start hitting these people while they're down. Like, these 2 turrets, they're not gonna hit you because there's a shield in the way. Just, like, get over there and start hitting those people, rather than, like, breaking the 1 or 2 turrets that are not really doing anything. If you think there are turrets there, try not to, like, pull out your Dragon Blade and go forward fighting them, because you're gonna get slowed by the turrets, and then that's gonna make you really sad. Now we're just gonna bully this Roadhog for a while with the help of Winston, which is not someone you often see helping bully around a Roadhog, but I mean, you know. Like, Roadhog, all the tanks have really big head hitboxes, with the exception of Zarya, but even she's kinda big. Like, try to aim for the dude's head, if at all possible, because we're really just aiming for his center of mass, which, I mean, you know, fair enough, it's easy to hit, but, like, his head hitbox is really big at the same time. Orissa's is even bigger, of course, but Orisa, she's gonna have a hard time killing us as Genji. Don't start meleeing a tank, because that's just how you get baited into meleeing the person forever. Just, like, actually reload. We come back over here and we find a Symmetra and a Sombra, so we decide that we're just gonna cut them with our ultimate, which is fair enough, because they're, like, the two of the best targets for our ultimate, so we may as well. This is really scary, because we've got a Mei coming towards us right now, so we just want to make sure we don't get in range of her hose, you know, the frosty times. Well, very sad if we get frozen by a Mei. Now we're gonna bully this Orisa with the help of Winston. If someone starts getting far away from you, that's kind of the point where you should be left-clicking instead, because, like, most of these don't actually hit her, which is unfortunate. I mean, she just barely hobbles away from the fight. We've effectively killed her, because she has to go all the way back into the spawn to come back. But, I mean, that's still, like, slightly less time than actually killing her. She's come out, she's put her bongo down. We should be breaking the bongo. We should have been prioritizing that one a little bit more, rather than the Orisa, because, I mean, you can just get up on the bongo, right-click it twice, and it's basically dead right there. But, at the same time, they're basically just, like, staggering out here one by one. Their team is very inconvenient to kill, so we don't actually get, like, the payload all the way to the end, if you can believe it. So here we're not doing a great job of varying up our movement. We're kind of just standing, like, right at the Orisa, and then we run right at the Orisa. Right, you wall run, double flips and shit. Like, you've got a lot of mobility. Part of, like, if you're playing a highly mobile hero, you want to take advantage of the mobility, whereas we're just kind of, like, sitting at, like, ground level, running at people pretty straightforward. We're not really varying movement, which is making it easier for them to hit us, which we don't want as Genji. We want it to be as hard for them to hit us as possible. So, we haven't got much time. We've managed to just barely avoid getting emped right here, which is, of course, excellent, because being emped is very sad, as basically any hero. But we don't really know what we want to do with the Dragon Blade, so we kind of end up just sort of fidgeting around, not doing much of anything. We really want to kill the Lucio, but he ends up kind of getting away from us, but he ends up dying anyway, so we actually still get the reset off of him. And then we run out of time just slightly before we can kill the Pharah with it, and now we're looking for the Pharah. It's a very, like, clusterfuck of a fight, and we're just sort of, like, fidgeting around in the middle of it, like, oh god, who can I cut with this blade? And we didn't really cut very many people with it. But at the same time, we didn't really have very much time to plan it out either, so, you know. Can you believe that we don't actually get the last part of this payload? Can you believe it from watching the way this fight's been going? They're just slowly, one by one, stagger back out, and we can't kill them quite quickly enough to ever get it. And, like, you know, they've had a lot of, like, stalling heroes. Like, we don't even have anyone that can actually, like, stop Roadhog from healing, which is really inconvenient, because he's generally out here for a while. Oh god, we just barely don't, like, dash back up in time to actually get out of the pit. And Mei's just used her ultimate, we've just heard it, so basically that's the nail in the coffin. We don't actually get it all the way to the end. This is very sad, and does come up. So, realistically, like, we probably should have changed off of Genji, because the enemy team comp was really hard for us to get very much work done as Genji. Pharah would have been a good hero to pick versus that team, because they had basically no answer to a Pharah. So we could have bullied them around a lot for most of that game. Otherwise, like, McCree would also, because McCree is kind of never really bad, but he's good against, like, Symmetra, because she runs up to you, dead. She's got a turret nest, just throw it in the room, all the turrets are gone. it's very hard for us to get work done versus that team as Genji, because their team is quite tanky, because one of their DPS is Mei, and like Symmetra and Mei are just going to make it hard for us to do much as well. Like, we've also got the Roadhog and the Orisa, who are just kind of hard for us to kill. So, we're standing up in the gate right now, which is generally not where we should be standing anyway. That was a good shield to block the hook, though. We don't really want to be standing up in the gate on King's Row. Like, we don't even want to do that if we have a Reinhardt, really, but we don't have a Reinhardt, so it's even worse right now for us to be, like, kind of standing up here. This dude is, like, too difficult for us to kill as Zarya. We should not be trying to kill this dude. Like, kind of looks like he might be AFK for a second, but, like, he's not our area. We would have been better off, like, falling back to help these people, because one-on-one, you basically never kill a Roadhog. Like, the Roadhog has to really fuck up to die to a Zarya 1v1. So just, like, don't bother. Just, like, fall back to the point and help people fight over there. Help your team and fight people that you're better at fighting. Because 1v1, Zarya versus Roadhog, never work. It's never gonna work unless the Roadhog is terrible. So, we've lost that point to, I'm sure, nobody's great surprise. If we were alive still, it might have gone differently, because we saw Mercy get pinned against the wall. We might have been able to save the Mercy if we were still alive, so, yeah, you know. We'll never know, because it happened in a parallel dimension, but also. So, we've seen that the enemy team at this point has a Sombra and a Genji, so this is where I would probably change to Winston, because Winston's good at killing both of those people. Zarya can kill these people, but not as consistently as Winston can. So, it's very scary. I know it's very scary, but if you're in this kind of... Our shift has just come off cooldown. Like, you don't... Like, you can take the pin, because your bubble will last long enough to carry you to that wall. Because it's like 2 feet behind us. I know it's very scary, but you should shift and take this pin, because there were people standing right behind us. The scary thing is that he could charge past us and pin somebody that can't take the pin. And I know it's very scary as Zarya to do it, but like, you know. There we see him hook somebody, that's where you pivot. Because part of the thing about Zarya, you can correct other people's mistakes. You see him hook somebody, you've gotta immediately turn and try to shield that guy. And then we start, like, if you want to, like, back up, maybe, and try and shield him, like, as he's getting pulled into the Roadhog, that's fine, but we, like, get closer to him. So, that makes it hard, like, you gotta try and, like, bubble that dude. So, we got hacked right as we got our ultimate, which is, of course, very sad. And we didn't get to, graviton anyone, but, oh, there's a teleporter here, so we get to come back. Most of our team dead right now, so we kind of have to wait a little bit. Mercy goes in and reses people. She reses the Hanzo, so it works out, because we can combo our ults with, Hanzo. Do we actually know Hanzo has his ultimate? This is sort of important information. Do we know the Hanzo has it? Yeah, we know Hanzo has it, okay. So if we know Hanzo gets res, we can combo it with him, but I don't... It doesn't show up in the kill feed, which is very upsetting, who got rezzed, but because we've rezzed Hanzo, it's okay. Unfortunately, he gets real fucked. Like, do you see what happened to this man? Mid-swing, oh god, just before we put the bubble on him as well, damn. But it's okay, because there's a Symmetra over there, microwaving people, and Reinhardt charged on through. Now they're alive again, so... Hanzo now uses his ultimate. Unfortunately not comboed, but we just used our ultimate, so he might as well use it, because he's going to charge up another Dragon Strike by the time we've built up another Graviton. So Reinhardt's got his ultimate, which is pretty cool. We've just seen Genji's killed Hanzo in the kill feed, so we want to come back here and try to deal with the Genji. Genji's now dead. Unfortunately, we didn't save the teleporter, but we killed the Genji, so that's cool. I'm not sure why we came up here. Did we see somebody? If YouTube would be so kind. Like, why did we come up here exactly? Ah, D.Va was shooting at us. Okay. So I think it was D.Va. Somebody shot at it. No, they don't have a D.Va. Must have been Soldier. Or something similar. Whatever. Someone shot at us. Oh, Sombra. Of course, it's fucking Sombra. I'm stupid. So Reinhardt's just charged through and managed, like, he's not allowed to do that, but he managed to pin their Mercy, so it's okay, I guess, in the end. Now we have to be the main tank, but unfortunately, our shift was on cooldown, so there was no chance of us blocking that, and what can you do? So, it's just unfortunate that Reinhardt was dead, basically, and our shift was on cooldown, so there's nothing we can really do about that one, because that's the only way we block Earth Shatter. So we lose that checkpoint. It's the street phase on King's Row. It's not like we expect to defend the King's street phase on King's Row. Because who does, frankly? We actually have almost another Graviton built up, which is pretty good time for a Graviton, honestly. We've been, like, alright on energy for most of the game, so we get to build up our charge relatively quickly. We've just been hacked, which is, of course, terrible news, because Zarya is quite a tragic hero to get hacked. Almost got the Mercy. We've almost got Graviton. Our Hanzo is currently dead, so that's one of the people we can combo with dead right now. He's just pinged that he does have his ultimate, but he's currently dead, so we kind of want to wait for him to get back, because we don't have another great combo on the team, other than just, like, Reinhardt swinging in. He's gonna be back soon. They just use their amp. We end up grabbing right here. Hanzo, he does ult. Goes through, kills some people. Oh god, here comes Genji. We get killed by Genji because we're low HP. And Mercy doesn't get back in time to res us, which is very sad. So, the correct play is probably to just use Graviton earlier, but at the same time, we want to use Graviton with Dragon Strike, which Hanzo just pinged that he had. So, I think realistically in that situation, 90% of people hold just the ultimate waiting for Hanzo to get back. But it's unfortunate he gets back a little bit too late, and then Genji comes in and finishes us off. It's the sort of thing that's like, well, in hindsight, we know we should have just used the Graviton to, like, try and kill their momentum and stop the push, basically. But realistically, no one makes that play in the moment, because we want to cut. Hanzo's the only thing we really have to combo with, and he has it, so we'd wait the extra, 5 seconds for him to get back. It's just then it turns out that that's a little bit too late, but we can only operate off the information we have at the time, so waiting for Hanzo is the correct play most of the time. It just turns out that in this case, it isn't the correct play, because he gets back a little bit too late. Surprisingly, Roadhog did a lot of damage. How about that? He did indeed show them, as his name is. So the moral of the story is that sometimes the correct play will not be the play that works. But unless we're psychic, we don't know that. So there were just a lot of little things. Basically, the biggest thing in this game is, if the enemy team is really hard to get work done against as Genji, just change off Genji. Don't be the dude that's sitting there on Genji versus a team, full of Genji counters, because that just makes it incredibly difficult to get work done. They just changed to, Pharah, in this case, would have been good, because they had no way to kill a Pharah consistently. So, that's, the biggest thing. And then there were all the things that we talked about as they came up. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.